أعزائي المشاهدين، كما عودناكم في برنامجكم الأسبوعي برنامج إماراتي، أن نستضيف لكم خيرة من دولة الإمارات العربية المتحدة. وهذا الأسبوع نستضيف السيد أرمين مرادي، المدير التنفيذي لشركة كاشيو في إمارات دبي. Good afternoon, Mr. Armin.
Hi, how are you doing?
Alhamdulillah. What about you?
Good, thank you.
We would like today to know who is Armin Moradi, from where he came and how he started his career in United Arab Emirates.
Absolutely. So I'll try to keep it as short as I can. So I grew up in Sweden. I went to school in Sweden. I got a job in the US, worked a couple of years in the US, and realized that I like the Europe lifestyle more than the American lifestyle. So I moved back to Europe and got a job with Oracle in Dublin. So Dublin is where the head office for outside of America is for Oracle. And while I was working in Dublin, I got the opportunity to move to Dubai. I was a little bit hesitant in the beginning. I didn't know much about Dubai. This is in 2012 they told me that I could move. And I didn't know much about Dubai. I only know that they were building tall buildings and they had fancy cars and so on. So I got intrigued about the opportunity and accepted the opportunity to come to Dubai. So in 2013, I moved with Oracle to Dubai to work with different types of financial technologies, primarily what is called ERP system, accounting systems. And I worked with Oracle here in UAE for about 4.5 years before I decided to start my own company. I saw that there was quite a lot of entrepreneurs in the region. They were doing successful businesses. At that time, it was a little bit harder to start a business than it is today. But one thing that I really liked with UAE is that it was very clear when you started a business what you needed to do. Very different from Europe, where it's very easy to start a business, but once you start a business, it's very hard to know how you operate the business. Here, I believe it was easier. So I started that business. It was a software development company. It was called Lightcone. We were focusing on the African market from UAE. We had an office in South Africa, and also we had a head office here in UAE. It ended up being very successful. Very quickly, we bootstrapped the company. We didn't take any investments. It was our own money, me and my two co-founders. And about 1.5 years after we started the company, we got interesting companies from Europe who was quite impressed with how fast we had grown and wanted to buy our company. So one company from Switzerland, they wanted to buy our company here in UAE. They wanted to focus on the UAE market. And the other company, the bigger part of our company, was in Africa. It was a company from the Netherlands who was very interested in buying that company. And they came at the same time, so it worked perfectly for us. So we sold the company into two parts, and the companies keep operating today quite successfully. And as I sold the company, I got the opportunity to join Delivery Hero. So Delivery Hero at that time had a couple of brands. They owned Hunger Station and Carriage and Talabat at that point, and then later they bought InstaShop. So I got the opportunity to become the managing director for UAE, and their whole opportunity that they wanted to look at was how to take one of the business units and turn it into profitability, which is very rare in a startup, especially in 2019. So I did that quite successfully, very fast. I had an amazing team to help me. So they then asked me, would you want to try to do the same thing in Saudi? And I don't speak Arabic. But I thought the challenge was cool. Saudi was cool. So I felt, you know what, let's take this opportunity. What's the worst thing that can happen? You know, I already moved countries several times. Why not Saudi? So I went to Saudi. I spent about a year there and managed to do exactly what I did in UAE, to turn the company into profitability. And then they merged the company into the bigger, wider group of Delivery Hero. After that, I was a little bit unclear what I wanted to do with my career, but I wanted to start something of my own again. So I was exploring different opportunities, didn't find anything, and took a job as the group finance director for a big retail and F&B company with almost 1,000 employees. And this is during the pandemic, so retail and F&B was struggling. And because my core have always been looking at difficult situation and turning them into profitable situation. Correct. And so I said, this is an interesting challenge. I joined the company and it turned out to be very successful. We managed to do everything that we were supposed to do in the right way. Again, I had a fantastic team. I had a great CEO that really knew his business really well. So it was easy to get the right guidance and learn a lot. And it was while I was there, I discovered some gaps. I saw that it was very hard to get corporate cards. It was very hard to manage expenses. It was very hard to control the outflow of money. It took time. And you know, when you're trying to move fast and you're working on very slim margins, you need everything to happen fast. You need to see things fast. So I started to look for a solution that could help for this, and I couldn't find any. I saw one in the US called Brex. So I looked at that one and I said, okay, so part of what they do is what we need here in the region. But here in the region, what we also need is a little bit more localized type of solution. We need a little bit of accounting features. We need a little bit of finance solutions within the system. Because in the US, normally companies are bigger so they can afford buying separate systems to be able to do what the companies need. But for us to be successful, we need to build that ourselves because the clients here are a little bit smaller. So we need to be able to have more.
Both, everyone, yeah.
Correct. So we started to build this, me and my business partner, we started to build this out in early 2022. And we went primarily to our own network. We went to some of my old clients from my previous company. We went to people that we got to know, and we showed the system. We built a demo environment before we were live and got feedback. And that was so valuable to us because the potential future clients would tell us what they felt was missing. So it became like a roadmap for us. So we took that knowledge and we built the system very quickly. We had this mindset, what we call product velocity. The faster we build, the more clients we can get. So we invested a lot of time in that until we went live. So when we went live, we had a very well-established solution. It wasn't like a small piece of software that's only this big. It was really big from day one. And that helped us sign up with very large clients. Some of them have more than 20,000-30,000 employees. And then we could also sign small clients with only 2-3 employees. So we rolled that out, and one thing that we did very early on as well is to build out something called the customer success team. So they are not the customer service team, but they are consultants that work with the clients to make sure we solve for the problems that they have, and then we digitize them. Then we build technology around the problems to automate those, and that again has ended up being quite successful. So I believe our clients really like what we do because we listen to them, and I believe that our clients really respect what we do because we fix their problems. We don't just listen and don't do anything. We actually build plans. Every week we have meetings about how to fix the problems of the different clients. And if one client have this problem, let's go and identify if other clients have the same problem. And if they do, when we solve it for client A, all of the other clients will be informed about the solution.
Word of mouth?
Word of mouth, definitely, but also we communicate very actively. We use social media to communicate. We use through our existing clients, through emailers, but also we use a traditional tool called the phone to call the existing clients and also tell them, I remember you had this problem, we have fixed it now. Can I set up some time to show you how we solve for the problem? And then eventually we have also built out some video content where the clients get a link to the video of a problem that they have highlighted so they can see how to solve for that problem with our system.
You mean you provide them some services before when you start to do any contract with them or anything? Like example, you are give them. After that, you start to have a strong relation between you and them as a contract, a legal more.
Absolutely. That I think, and that is a very good point that you highlight. It's very important to understand what the client wants. So we record the input that we get from the client before they become a client, right? So while they are prospect. When you do that, when you then launch the solution with the client, because everybody have their own need, everybody run their business differently. Even if they have 2 restaurants, they run them differently. So we listen to them, and once we can cater for their problems, we go back and say we have solved your problem. It's a very different strategy than creating a box and say, if you fit into the box, come become my client. We instead decided to expand the box to fit as many clients as possible.
It's a way, one of the way or market way we can say.
Yeah, absolutely. It is.
And it's costly for you, or it's good to get more trust?
I think both. Obviously, it costs a little bit more money to take this approach, but also it shows very positive results. And something else that I would say, my partner, she is very, very focused, have worked in the F&B industry for a very long time. So service is very important to her, right? Now, I worked on the software side where the software is supposed to be the service. So when we take our mindset and put it together, we realize that if you're only a software company, you forget about the client. But if you're only a service company, you forget about your technology. So when we go together and put our mind together, we understand that we can be a customer-first company and solve the problem with technology. So she is much closer to the client, and I'm much closer to the technology.
Mr. Armin, if we talk about Qashio, you started in 2022?
Yes.
And we would like to know more about how you get the name, how you build the brand, which today most of company are dealing with them, and talk about your service. Let us know more about the branding, how you build it.
Absolutely. That's a funny story. So we came up with the idea, and we decided that, okay, this is a great idea, we want to do it, but to be able to do it, it's a very expensive company to start, so we need investors. So we reached out to some people that we knew who were investors, and it's kind of funny. It was in the evening one night at 9 p.m. We're like, okay, we are going to do this. Let's reach out to investors and see if we can raise some money to start a company. So we sent out an email, WhatsApp to different investors that we know. And then one investor immediately from the US, this is 9 p.m., replies to us at 10 p.m. and says, yeah, we're interested. We invested in Brex, which is the biggest company in the world doing what we're doing out of the US. Do you have a presentation? We didn't have anything. So we're like, yeah, we have a presentation. So we send a meeting invite, and they wanted to meet at 11:30. So we had 1.5 hours to create a presentation, to create the logo, to create a card design, and to come up with a company name. And my partner, she was like, you know what, these are Americans, they don't know much about the region, so let's say that everybody here likes gold. So she started to make the design in gold, and I said, but Muslim men, they don't wear gold because we cannot.
That's the Arabic tradition.
Yeah, exactly. So we cannot say that, like, everything cannot be gold. So we were going to call it the gold card. So I said, no, we cannot do that. So we went on GoDaddy, where you buy a domain name and internet address, and I'm like, okay, what are we doing? We are removing cash and putting it on the card. So I just put cash in the search bar, and the system suggested for me Qashio, this name. And we had so little time, so we're like, okay, let's buy the domain. And then we created the logo very, very quickly. We created design, everything in 1.5 hours, so that when we went on the call with the investor, it looked like we were ready, and it worked.
That's great. Let us know more about the strategy of Qashio.
Sure. And I think that's been a journey, right? So, and it's a learning journey. When we started Qashio, we thought that we are going to solve for a very easy problem to solve for, while it's also hard, which was to be able to give corporate credit cards to as many clients as possible. Now, it sounds easy, the concept is easy, but doing it is hard. But if we would get the card to people, they would automatically start using the solution. Right. So we started, that was our strategy, to get the card to as many people as possible. But we realized very quickly that it's very expensive to operate a business with too many clients, right?
The cost will be very high.
Very high. And so we said, okay, it's better if we focus on few clients, but affluent clients, the ones that would be more valuable for us. So if we can cater for them, if we can service them, it will be easier to later on when we can build automation to service for the smaller clients. So we started top down. As we did that, you learn things through the journey, right? We take feedback continuously to build out our product and our software and our solution and our processes very, very frequently. So we listened to the clients, so the strategy have changed. So we understood one very key thing is when the manager of a company decides to use Qashio, there is always a pushback by the employees because change is difficult to adjust to, especially in today's environment where change comes so fast. So to be able to sustain that, there is some type of reward needs to be given to the employee or to the company to change behavior. So we started to ask our clients, what is the thing that you want the most? Is it loyalty points? And if you get loyalty points, what do you want to do with it? And it seems to be like everybody wanted Emirates Skyward Smiles. That was what our majority of our client base wanted. So we thought that, okay, on one side, we can focus on providing the best possible service and the best software for the corporate cards and the accounting integrations that we do. But that's just one part of it. Now we need to get them to use it. So we started to reach out. We reached out to Emirates. It took a very long time to go through the journey, to explain what we do, what value we would add to them, what value they would add to us, to change the behavior. Because once they start using the system, our system, they like our system. We just need to get them past that threshold. So that's what we did as the next step of our strategy. Now, when we launched Emirates, we had a system, we had great service, great processes, great operations. Now we had a way of changing behavior. So the next thing we had to think about is what else do our clients want and what else do they expect from us? So things that they wanted was to be able to get working capital loans, which is something we didn't provide ourselves. So we had to find a partner. So we partnered with ADQ, with a company called Credible X. So they do the underwriting and do the lending, but we send them the clients. They are the operator, but we send our clients there. So they tell us a client needs to have this much revenue, they need to have this much profit, and so on. So we already source out this information because we get access from the client. And then we, when the client applies for a loan, we then send it to ADQ and they manage it.
More easy and sure.
Exactly. And we don't need to take the risk, right? One thing to know that anything that comes to lending can also create friction, right? If the client is late in payment, you want to chase them to get your money back. Now we want to be the good guys. So
in the middle,
in the middle. So we outsource it to the Credible X guys and ADQ. So that was one thing that our clients really wanted. Another thing that the SMEs, the smaller clients, had problem with was health insurance. So to get health insurance, especially in the Northern Emirates, is quite difficult for small companies. Right. They need to do declarations. They need to disclose quite a lot of information on each individual employee. And in a small company, all of this information goes through either HR or the owner. So maybe employees are not comfortable sharing this information. So what we built is a completely autonomous solution where you require less information because there is an umbrella. We say that we are going to have this many SMEs and these many employees that are going to sign up for this health insurance, so we want the package deal. So we signed a package deal, so the price becomes lower. The process is fully digitized, so the employees, so the HR and the manager of the company do not know what the
details.
Exactly. That goes to the insurance company, and based on that, they provide a quote, and this takes 2-3 minutes, not 2-3 days, without any broker trying to convince you to do this or do that. And we provided this to our clients, completely digitized. And that has also been quite widely accepted, especially for the smaller companies.
And more sustainability, I think, less paper.
Yeah, and it saves time, right? One big problem, I don't know if, for those who have gone through a health insurance journey, it's quite a lot of documents that needs to be filled in. But it's very easy for one employee to do it themselves. They ask for the Emirates ID information, any pre-conditions, and so on. Now we automated this. The next thing that we are looking at, and we got really inspired by COP28. When COP28 started or was announced, we understood how interested this region really is into finding sustainable ways of working. So we started to explore what can we do to build something sustainable within our industry. And we found a company that is doing this very, very well called Phils. So very, very soon you will be able to, on each card transaction, understand what your carbon footprint is per card transaction. Not on a very high level, but what Phils have done, they have aggregated billions and billions of transactions and learn how the behavior of a transaction is. As an example, if you go to Starbucks in Mexico and you buy a coffee, the carbon footprint is less than if you go to Starbucks in UAE, because the coffee beans comes from Colombia, so the distance of travel is less. So our system, together with their system, identifies the carbon footprint and tells the company how much carbon footprint the expenses on the Qashio cards creates, and then we give access for them to buy those credits to offset them for their ESG reporting, which is coming more and more mandatory. So we buy a bulk of carbon credits, and then the client can go to our portal, and with the loyalty points, they can offset their carbon credit, and they get their certificate immediately under their name from us that we have bought from the Abu Dhabi exchange. And this is also something that saves a lot of time. We do the KYC for them, so they don't need to do it themselves. And they don't need to buy a very big volume because they might not need that. We buy the big volume, so they get the good prices by buying the small part that they want. So this is something that's coming towards the end of the year. So we listen to what the client wants. We look at the directions of the region. COP28 was a big eye-opener for this region and highlighted what a big opportunity sustainability can be for a region like this, or especially UAE, that is such an innovation hub worldwide and very well respected worldwide as a business hub. And if we can show the world how it can be done, maybe other people in the world will copy us and learn from us instead of us copying them.
Right. Mr. Armin, let's ask to come to the in-house.
Yes.
When we talk about the employees, they are very important. They are the backbone of the company.
Absolutely.
We need to select them very carefully. We need to have a strong strategy to have a right team to add a value for the company.
Yes.
What's the strategy you built to have a right team?
That's a very good question. That was absolutely one of the first things that we thought about. When I started the company, the first person I hired was HR, which is very, very uncommon. And that was because I wanted to be able to build a strategy on how we hire people to be able to deliver as much as possible with as little people as possible. Because in the beginning, you need to really conserve cash. Right. So looking at different successful models, we decided to look at two primary objectives. So we would split up the company or the employees into two categories of this one objective. So we want to have experts and we want to have velocity, so speed. So we would hire a very senior expert on the top that already sit on a lot of knowledge. And then we would look at people that want to deliver fast, younger people normally, that are very, very hungry to grow as individuals and really want to learn. Part of what we do is looking at other companies, what they have done. But that's just one part of what we do. The other part of what we do is that we need to innovate. And we need to learn from the market, and we need to understand what is possible. So if we have an expert that knows how things are done today, the other part of the business would be people that can figure out how things can be done tomorrow. So merging these two together and making sure that we have a consistent information loop between the employees would encourage the younger people to learn from the senior person, while it will give a roadmap for the more senior person on what we should prioritize based on the feedback and the possibility. So that is what we thought of as the first thing. Then we started the company in 2022. So we did something that is, at that point, not conventional. There was a lot of remote workers, very popular with remote workers. And I don't believe that at the early days of a company's journey that having remote workers will build a culture. So for me, it was important to, even though we're a tech company and it is cheaper to outsource some of your technology to other countries, I said, no, you know what? I want everybody to be in UAE, in the office, so that we share information with each other.
Yeah, right.
And I think that has proven to be very successful, because with the smaller tech team than most other companies in our industry, we have managed to do more. Because they sit next to each other, they sit next to the business team. It was very important for us when we designed the office, when we got this particular office, that we looked for an office for almost 6 months before we found the perfect one. We were at WeWork for the longest time, was that it becomes easy to walk between the desks and talk to each other. So if the sales team needs something, they can go to the tech team directly and talk to them without using the boss as a middleman. To remove that culture of hierarchy and try to keep as flat of an organization as possible. I myself, I spend very little time in my own office. I sit wherever there is a desk available. I rather sit there with the team when I do my work, to listen to them. Not when they talk to me, but when they talk to each other.
Right.
Just to understand what it is that they need, what the company needs. And based on that, then we can build a strategy. But engaging the employees and listening to them is the best shortcut.
What's the future plan for the Qashio? Where do you want to go?
So the immediate next plan is to launch in Saudi. We have already built our integrations. We have a partner bank called Al Bank in Saudi. So right now we are hiring a Saudi team. So that will happen before the end of this year. Besides that, another plan that we have is to build out some additional features and functionalities, especially around, it's kind of boring, but invoice management, to simplify the process of the finance teams using Qashio. And what we also have done very recently, we launched in Europe, so we have clients in Europe, so we are trying to identify for either 2025 or 2026 to launch Qashio outside of UAE and Saudi into Europe. While we have these plans, we are also looking at the opportunities closer to us in Southern Africa and Eastern Africa, especially since we have experience from those regions. We've been successful there. But also maybe look at Turkey or the other GCC countries. One thing that's important to know is that our business is very dependent on the opportunity from a regulatory point of view to be able to do our business. So we need to wait for each country to be ready. But Europe is ready, Saudi is ready, and hopefully soon some African countries as well.
Do you have any special courses or training class for the people who are start to work with you, for your client, to training their employees also?
So we train our own employees. We have
But
some...
for the other, your client, how are you training them to use the application or to use the system?
Okay, so that is also, again, something that we thought about very early on. When I used to work with Oracle, one thing that I realized every time we sold a solution, now Oracle is a very, very big solution. So every time we sold a solution, it required a lot of training. Now, for us, what we said, our system is much, much easier to build. You know, the legacy of these old big companies is from the 90s. Our legacy is 2022. It's only 2 years old. So we're building a knowledge base. So a lot of the information is available within the platform for people. They just go and they search for a problem that they have, and most likely there is a video or an article on how that works. But when we take a client on board, we follow something called a trainer-trainer approach. So we identify a couple of point of contacts inside of our clients who are, and we classify them, the promoter, the influencer, and the decision maker. We try to get all of these three characters inside of a company into the first meeting, and then our customer consultants do a training. So they split the training normally in 3 sessions dedicated for the 3 different roles to show them how the system works, and they talk the language of each one of them. If you're talking to the decision maker, the language is very different. It's very firm. When you're talking to the influencer, it's about how do you get other people to go through the change. And the promoter, you need to talk about the benefits. So we show the benefits to him. To him, we show how you can use a stick to get your team to do something, and the influencer, how you motivate the team. And then we teach them how the system works.
How the technology or the AI it's help you in the market also to grow?
So right now the AI is mostly helping us automate things, and that's a huge value of what we do.
More easy?
Much easier. As an example, when you use Qashio, you use your card and for a transaction. Now a receipt gets generated for that transaction. Traditionally, what you do, you take that receipt, you go and give it to the accounting, they do the booking.
Right.
Now in our system, you can just take a picture and you can send this picture via WhatsApp to the Qashio system, or you can upload it. Everybody has a mobile app. You can upload it via the mobile app, or you can send it via email. You can do it, just send it to the system. The system will then identify the transaction. It will map it to the right transaction. It will automatically calculate the VAT. It will automatically calculate and understand which department made the expense, what type of expense it is, and then it will feed this into your accounting system without human intervention. And the system has taken time to learn this. In the beginning, what we did was we would follow this process, but we would ask the employee, did my system do this right? So the question would be, is this transaction 200 dirhams from ADNOC? Was it gas or petrol? And was this for the logistics department? If they click yes, the system learns it. And then the more questions we ask, it learns how to do it automatically. So we have less than 0.001% errors in the today transactions that get through the AI.
If we talk about Armin Moradi,
Yes.
who's your backbone? Who support you today to be in this level?
My wife, for sure. She allows me to work a lot. She's very supportive of everything that I do. But most importantly, she respects the team, and she respects the employees. For her, it's important that the people that I spend the whole day with knows that we care about them as well. So my wife comes to the office once every 2-3 weeks. She's more friends with the employees than I am. She goes, she talks to everybody. Even though she's a doctor herself, she has her own job. But she comes here just to spend time, to show that she knows who they are as well. She never was asked to do that. She just naturally decided to do that. And that is also a great support to me. That also helps the employee to know that it's not Armin, the CEO. This is Armin, the family man, who is running this business.
And what you would say today for your wife for her support?
I want to say thank you for, first of all, allowing me to do this, because it's very difficult for a family to be away from the husband, I guess. Yeah, so no, I really appreciate everything that she does. I absolutely appreciate the fact that she invests in the company to come by herself with my son, so I get to see him to the office, and also to make friends with the team members. And of course, even though she has her own job and her own career, the way that she also takes care of the home, I never need to worry about home. There is always everything is always ready at home. And one of the most valuable things, of course, with my wife is that she keeps in touch with my family as well, informs my family back home in Sweden how everything is going, and that is very nice. So I really thank her for everything that she does, and for the fact that she makes my life easier.
And for the team member and partners in Qashio, what you will say today for the success?
First of all, I really want to thank my business partner. Her name is Lydia, and this is the 4th company we work together, 4th company in a row. And I am very happy because she knows what I need to be able to do, what I need to do, and she knows how to communicate what I communicate to the rest of the team. And by the end of the day, in every company there is always a face of the company, but behind that face is a huge group of people that work towards the success of the organization. And I would say that every single one of our employees are so dedicated and so passionate about our mission of what we are trying to do that it makes it much easier for me to do my job. So I really want to thank my business partner that have made this possible, and also to the team that have created what we have today.
Alhamdulillah. From Mr. Armin Moradi, we would like to have advice for the people who are planning to come to UAE to invest and to grow in this peaceful country. What's your advice to them for the newcomers?
Come. It's a fantastic, fantastic place that I really feel the privilege to call my home. It's one of the friendliest places on earth. From the first day I came here, I have felt safe and welcome. We are having every opportunity to be successful here. You can pursue your dream, and your dream is supported. And I absolutely love for my son to be exposed to this multiculturalism that is designed in a way that it doesn't exist anywhere else in the world. I think if you want to come here and live a comfortable and safe life and fun life where you can do whatever you want, whenever you want, enjoy good food, go to the beach, ski if you want, come to Dubai. And to UAE and to Abu Dhabi. It's a fantastic country.
Mr. Armani Murad, today we are living more than 218 nationality United Arab Emirates, and we support each other. Our visionary leaders prepare for us one of the best country in the world, from the safety, the security. They always support the healthcare, education, which give us more value in this beautiful country. What you will say for our visionary leaders and for the UAE government for their support?
First of all, I want to say thank you for welcoming me and my family to the UAE, and for creating such a fantastic place to be. It's an enjoyable place, it's a friendly place, it's a welcoming place where safety and prosperity is clearly part of the vision. I would encourage everybody who have the opportunity to come here to take that opportunity to build their lives here in the UAE.
Thank you, Mr. Armani Moradi, for your time to be with EMARATI program, the CEO and co-founder of Qashio. We wish for you all the best, and my best wishes for you.
Thank you, Isaac.